All right, guys, welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you are new. Thank you for joining me and Boss today. He's already here. He's ready to go. It's also Memorial Day here in the United States. So for anybody wondering why the intro was what I would consider a classic Metal Gear theme. It's from Metal Gear Solid 3. Specifically, the track is titled Debriefing, and it plays towards the end of Metal Gear Solid 3. One of my favorite games of all time, if not my favorite game of all time. That's why I use that track today, though, in honor of Memorial Day. And so I hope everybody who is celebrating Memorial Day, although I don't know that we would say it's a day of celebration necessarily, but for anybody who's acknowledging Memorial Day, I hope you have a meaningful Memorial Day. My father was a veteran. He served in Vietnam, so it was always very important to him. And also my grandfather-in-law served in the Navy. So, yeah, just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge that. For those who are unaware, Memorial Day is acknowledging those who have served their country and didn't make it back. So, very important day, I think. And I also just want to take a moment to thank everybody for their service. For anybody who does serve, thank you for that. So, Toolman, you're saying your dad served in the Marines. Nice. Very cool. Yeah, my father was he was an Army Ranger. But maybe we could talk more about that in depth during the members lounge. Boss is already hanging on my arm here. He's already hanging on my arm. Hanzo says to all those who have served their country, thank you. All right. Well, today, what we're going to be talking about is a new PlayStation title, the next proper FPS or first-person shooter known as Concord. Concord is coming. Apparently, it's coming very soon. Sony did confirm that this game is set to release this year. Are there any updates on Concord? Well, yes, kind of. What we're going to do over the course of the stream is talk about what Concord is. We're going to go over all of the information that we currently know. There's not a whole lot out there, but there is certainly enough to cover. And I think it's worth doing because if it's true that we're going to be seeing this game very soon, I think there are a lot of people who don't know much about Concord. Some people might not even know about it at all. And this stream is to, again, just kind of go over all the information and with that information kind of figure out what we should expect. How are we feeling about Concord? So before we get into that, guys, I do have a super chat from New Soul 9. Really appreciate it, buddy. Saying, MBG, you should really play the Elder Scrolls games, especially since Elder Scrolls 6 and Avowed, if you are really big into storytelling. I can't wait for Avowed. It's interesting. I tried to play the Elder Scrolls way back. It feels like it was way back. It was actually, I think, around the time Dark Souls came out. And it was funny because I was trying to figure out which game I was having more fun with. And I was definitely having more fun with Dark Souls. Became one of my favorite games of all time. Unfortunately, when I was playing the Elder Scrolls, it just didn't do it for me. I tried my best to get into it. And yeah, the story was there to an extent, but the gameplay I was struggling with. So if I do end up playing another Elder Scrolls in the future, like Elder Scrolls 6, as you're saying, it's just one of these things where I'll just like dive into it without thinking about it, Right now, it's not necessarily on the radar, but that game is also probably kind of far away. So, and we have Corey the Legend Landiga coming in, starting the day off big with a 10 bomb, 10 memberships gifted to you guys. And as always, Corey says, in the name of Boss. In the name of boss, he drops the 10 bomb. Very much appreciate that, Corey. Thank you for getting us off to a very strong start there. I want to see some W's flowing in the chat for Corey. He does a lot for this community, and we very much appreciate it. And I do just want to let everybody know we are doing a members lounge after this stream. So if you are a channel member, please look forward to that. But also keep in mind that if you get gifted a membership today, or if you decide to become a member, you will gain access to that members lounge. So Corey gets us up to 10 members. Guys, if we hit the 25 mark today, we will feed the beast. We'll feed the beast. We'll give him a little bit of laser time as well. That's what we'll call it, laser time. Corey demands it. So before we get into today's discussion, I just want to once again thank everybody for tuning in. If you watch the stream live, thank you so much for that. It means a lot that you guys are choosing to spend time here and listen to me and discuss games with me. If you can't catch the streams live, and I know not everybody can, but you still watch them later on, I also want to make sure to give you guys a shout out. I do very much appreciate the viewership and the support. I want to also ask you guys to please hit that like button. If you do enjoy these streams, if you do enjoy the content, the easiest... Oh, I think he found a rogue snack there. If you do enjoy the streams and if you do enjoy the content, just do me a favor and hit that like button. It's the easiest way to support the channel, even if it's the only way you can support the channel. There are 3 ways you can support my channel, this community, and this content directly. We are fan-funded here. I do rely on you guys to be able to continue to do this. Become a channel member, gain access to some exclusive perks, such as the Members Lounge, as well as exclusive community posts. If you're already a channel member, consider gifting memberships like Corey Landiga has done here and many others continue to do. And last but certainly not least, consider donating a super chat like NewSoul9 has. Ask a question, give an opinion, make a statement, anything in between. It helps tremendously. And there's a 4th bonus way you can help support. The pinned comment in the chat box leads to a direct donation link where 100% of what you donate goes to the creator. So that's another option as well. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to do this. But with that being said, we are going to go over information regarding Concord. So somebody had asked me, is there any new info on Concord? Well, we do have a new report, and I did cover this very briefly previously, but I want to go more in depth today because, again, it seems like we are going to be seeing this game very, very soon. This report comes from Dia Labs, specifically Billy Bilkoon, who is one of the more reliable insiders / leakers for PlayStation. This individual has been correct with pretty much everything that they have revealed about PlayStation. Now, they don't reveal things all that often, but when they do, they're usually on the money. So let's read the report. This was published on May 23rd, so not that long ago. They say here, a year has passed since the first teaser of the Concord video game, but very soon we should be treated to a second announcement revealing many more exclusive elements. I also want to let you know if it sounds weird the way it's worded, it's because it's translated from French. Announced during the 2023 PlayStation Showcase, Concord is the next PlayStation exclusive arriving in 2024. This multiplayer FPS game benefited from a teaser trailer with a brief presentation on the PlayStation blog. The title will be released on PlayStation 5 and PC. A few months ago, we revealed the upcoming arrival of a new announcement for the game Concord. The ad was even ready to be presented during a State of Play, which took place last January. However, this announcement did not take place for reasons that we do not yet know, although we believe it is because of some problems encountered with the PC version. Despite recent rumors surrounding the arrival of a State of Play or PlayStation Showcase during the month of May, we have not been able to confirm the holding of such events. Now, they say here an announcement is planned for very soon for real. According to the latest information we have been able to obtain, it seems that the second announcement regarding Concord is planned for very soon. We estimate that it will take place within 15 days. Now, it's worth noting this write-up was on May 23rd, so it's certainly less than 15 days now. This announcement is expected to introduce at least some of the playable characters in the game with a glimpse of the gameplay. Let's also remember that we declared that the game was inspired by the universe of the Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy following the first elements we had possession of. The release date of the game is still unknown on our side. We also don't know if the announcement will be made during a PlayStation event or during Summer Game Fest, which is set to take place on June 7th. We will be sure to update you if we manage to obtain new information. So this is the latest report from Billy Bill Kuhn and Dia Labs on Concord. And we have our man Hellbound 1981 following up Corey's 10 bomb, dropping 5 memberships. Hellbound, thank you so much for that, my friend. You just brought us up to 15 members already on the day. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you for continuing to show your support for clearly Boss here. I want to say this really quick. Do you guys notice Boss kind of like faces the opposite direction when he's like waiting for the snacks? Oh, I said the word. He's like facing the opposite direction. I wonder if there's something to that. He's like, I will not show my face to you until we hit the mark. But Hellbound, nonetheless, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Very much appreciate the 5 bomb there. So you just brought us up to 15 members on the day. We are just 10 away from feeding the beast, guys. 10 members away from feeding the beast. But yeah, Concord, latest report we have lets us know that it's on track to be revealed within the next, at this point, I would say 10 days. And it is anybody's guess. Is it coming at Summer Game Fest, or is it coming before that? I would assume it's coming before that. That'd be interesting if Sony gave Jeff Keighley exclusive Concord gameplay reveal. And we have Corey, the legend Landiga. He was not kidding when he said it is in the name of Boss. He drops a second 10 bomb, gets us to the 25 mark just like that. Absolutely crushes it. Corey.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You already know it's appreciated, bud. And we have Matt Fu. Look at this. Matt Fu following up Corey's 10 bomb with a 10 bomb of his own. 10 more memberships gifted. Guys, that's 20 members gifted. 25, actually. Counting I almost called Hellbound Hellblade. Hellblade 1981. Hellbound. Love to see it. So you guys not only crushed the goal, you guys went above and beyond here. We are now at 35 members already. So you know what time it is. You know what time it is. Let me update this goal. We will feed the beast, and we will continue our conversation about Concord. Thank you guys so much. If we do end up hitting a second goal today, we'll do a couple reps at the end of the stream. We could do that as well. I've been really trying to work out hard these days. I've been going for the volume, you know, set after set after set, and I'm feeling it in a good way. I'm looking to break through a plateau here. So Matt Fu, thank you so much, my friend. Corey, Hellbound, you guys are the GOATs. Seriously. Here we go, boss. You ready? They're feeding you nice and early today. Nice and early. Look at them. I got to wait for the members to finish distributing. There we go. All right.
Boss, do you read me? It's time to feed the beast.
There we go. Let's go, boss. Boom. Oh, damn. Taking the curtain with him. Boss is a very happy cat now. He says thank you. Classic boss emoji. Activate. I had to bring back classic boss, you know. All right. Dense cats are the best. That's funny. So when talking about Concord, guys, what I want to do is I want to go over now all of the information we currently know about Concord. And that's what really fascinates me about this game. What fascinates me is that this is the only first-party PlayStation Studio title. It is the only first-party PlayStation Studio title that we have confirmed for 2024. We know that Until Dawn Remake is coming, but that's actually being developed by a studio outside of PlayStation Studios, Ballistic Moon. There's rumors of an Astro game, but I don't want to talk about that just yet because we don't know if that's actually coming this year. So all we know from Sony themselves is Concord is on track to release in 2024. In fact, they just reiterated during their latest earnings that it's set to release this year. So with that in mind, we look at what's out there for Concord right now, and what's out there is so minimal. We really know so little about this game. But I want to start here with the actual PlayStation blog post that was written up on May 24th, 2023, after the game was revealed. And actually, I meant to bring this up earlier. I'm going to play the trailer in the background here. If you can just give me a moment to bring it up so you can just kind of see the game. Not that there's a lot to see. The trailer is only 50 seconds long. Oh, wait, no. That's the wrong one. Hold on. I'll never understand why it does that. I am curious, though. Is there anybody here who hasn't seen the Concord trailer yet? Because when I look at this trailer on YouTube, it only has 244,000 views, which is not a lot at all, especially when you consider that there's 15.5 million subscribers on the PlayStation YouTube channel. It seems like a lot of people don't know about this game. Like, they have not seen this trailer. It is a CG trailer. So I'm just going to have it playing in the background. Hopefully it stays up on screen. See, why does it do that? Let me bring it back here a moment. So before we go over the blog post, I just want to watch this with you. I'm sorry, that wasn't the smoothest transition. For some reason, it always removes my my screen capture. I don't know why, but this was the trailer that they revealed for Concord last year at the PlayStation Showcase. It's 51 seconds. Really doesn't show us much at all. The Space Burger, the infamous Space Burger. And that's it. That's the trailer. See, I think this is why so many people were perplexed last year. Because when you watch that trailer, I'll play it one more time. Just so we can soak it in. When you watch this trailer, I think, it serves as a reminder as to why so many people were feeling pretty disappointed last year during the showcase, because it's hard to get excited about the prospect of a new IP like this, where it's a first-person shooter, but really all you're seeing is a 50-second CG trailer. I think a lot of people were hoping that for something like this, we would get some glimpse at gameplay, just to have some idea of what it actually looks like. I feel like this trailer tries to set the tone and convey the overall tone of the game, and I think it does a pretty decent job of that. And yeah, I kind of do get a little bit of a Guardians of the Galaxy vibe from it. But yeah, that is the only trailer that is currently available for Concord. And right after the PlayStation Showcase where they revealed this trailer, they put up a blog post. And they say here, introducing Concord, a new PvP multiplayer FPS from Firewalk Studios, coming to PS5 and PC. Get a glimpse of the vibrant sci-fi universe of Concord launching in 2024. This was written up by the game's director, Ryan Ellis of Firewalk Studios. It's been an exciting few weeks for all of us at Firewalk Studios after sharing the news last month that Firewalk would be joining PlayStation Studios, and we're going to go over that in a minute. Today, we are thrilled to confirm the title of our upcoming game, Concord, announced during today's PlayStation Showcase. Concord is our new PvP multiplayer first-person shooter coming to PS5 and PC in 2024. While we're still hard at work on development, we wanted to share this small introduction to Concord, and then they have a link to the trailer. Concord is a bringing together of peoples. It's the power of games to build connection and inspire social play. The Firewalk team is driven by the type of exciting, unexpected moments and shared experiences that multiplayer games create. Every time you log on is the beginning of a new adventure, and every match is an opportunity for a new story. It's these ideals that define Concord, its unique universe of vibrant worlds and its rich cast of colorful characters. There's so much more we can't wait to share with you, and we're looking forward to fully revealing Concord ahead of launch next year. In the meantime, we can keep up. You can keep up by following us, by following Firewalk on your favorite social platform. So it's interesting rereading this. I think I may have looked over this a little too quickly last year, where they said here, we're looking forward to fully revealing Concord ahead of launch next year. So it seems like the plan was always to play this very close to the chest and not actually reveal this game in full until they're very close to launch. I'm surprised I overlooked that, honestly. Oh, yeah, Corey, I want to see that too. I've been waiting. Corey, I've been waiting to get something more on Metal Gear Solid Delta, because I would love to do a dedicated stream talking about Metal Gear Solid Delta, but we just... Listen, I don't know if Sony's doing State of Play. I don't know if they're doing a showcase. What I do know is if they're doing anything, please let there be a new Metal Gear Solid Delta trailer, because I am very much eagerly awaiting that game. But I want to now go to another report. This is from gamesindustry.biz, and this was written up 1 month prior to the reveal of Concord. It was published by Games Industry's Christopher Dring on April 20th, 2023. PlayStation to acquire AAA multiplayer developer Firewalk Studios. It will be the 20th PlayStation Studios team. PlayStation has agreed to acquire Firewalk Studios, the AAA multiplayer developer that is working on a live service game for PS5 and PC. If the name sounds familiar, it's because Sony had already announced it would be publishing Firewalk's first game, which we now know as Concord, all the way back in April of 2021. It is the third dedicated live service game studio that PlayStation has acquired over the last 18 months, alongside Bungie and Haven Studios. Firewalk was set up in 2018 as part of Probably Monsters, a collective of AAA game developers. It was formed by a number of Bungie veterans, including studio head Tony Hsu, previously general manager and senior vice president of Destiny at Activision, and game director Ryan Ellis, previously the creative director at Bungie. It now boasts almost 150 employees. So again, there's not a whole lot of information out there about Concord, but this is vital information to know. This studio is comprised of mostly former Bungie developers, high-ranking Bungie developers. So the previous general manager and vice president of Destiny, and also the previous creative director at Bungie. Pretty interesting how somehow all of these Bungie developers have found their way to PlayStation. And we know here, this was, again, written up over 1 year ago. They had 150 employees. So I do wonder if they're still at 150 or if they've actually grown since then. But either way, it's a pretty big team. That's, I think, important to understand, is that this team is not like a small AAA team. I mean, it's not the biggest either. I would consider a smaller AAA team like maybe like 90 to 100 developers. 150, I wouldn't say that's a large, like a huge AAA team, but it's big enough to where my expectation is this game should be pretty big, you know? It's 150 devs. That's a lot of people working on one game, for sure. But it's not like there's 300 devs working on it, you know? Because that is a thing with a lot of AAA games these days. So I'm not expecting the biggest game in the world, but something that definitely doesn't give me like AA vibes. And we have Digital Dude 25 here with a $5 super chat saying, that reminds me of what Shinobi said when he said that PlayStation Studios wanted to reveal their game when they are close to launch. He was right. Yeah, good call out, Digital Dude. We did discuss this yesterday. Shinobi 602 gave us a little bit of insight into the philosophy over at PlayStation Studios and how they're taking this approach where they want to reveal their games closer to launch when they have dates and time frames nailed down. And so, yes, this does line up with that. I fully anticipate that when we get this new reveal for Concord this year, or not even this year, but in the coming days, I fully anticipate it's going to end with a specific release date. And I could see that release date being like September, October, November, or December of this year. And the only thing about it is I'm not sure that every PlayStation studio is going to, take it this close to the finish line. I do suspect that maybe it makes sense for a game like Concord because it's brand new and nobody knows what to expect. But for a game like, let's say, Ghost of Tsushima 2, I think it would be interesting, and it's a possibility. They could absolutely do this, but I feel like a game like Ghost of Tsushima 2 is going to have more breathing room. I think they're going to come in and, give it at least 1 year of kind of build up, right? Like we will get a reveal trailer and then we'll get new info maybe a couple months after, maybe 6 months later, we'll get another trailer. And then that'll give us a specific release date, something along those lines. I could see that happening. And I guess that's not too far off, honestly, from what we got with Concord. The only real problem with Concord is we haven't seen any gameplay. So good call out, Digital Dude, and thank you so much for the super chat, buddy. That's interesting. Mullen says, no, MBG, they will launch the game way sooner than that. You're mentioning a beta. Oh, yeah, I didn't think of that either. Will they? They didn't do a beta for Helldivers 2, but this is a PvP game. So you're right. They could launch a beta. I'd be very excited for that just because, hey, being able to try the game out for free and test it out. My whole thing with this is the fact we still haven't seen gameplay. That's what's I can't overlook the significance of that because how many games can you think of that have withheld gameplay this long? And I feel like there's one of two reasons for this. I'm going to finish reading this gamesindustry.biz article, but I feel like there's one of two reasons why we haven't seen Concord gameplay. Reason number one, Sony's a little bit nervous. They're a little bit nervous that it's not really going to resonate the way that they would like it to, that there might be a lot of scrutiny, that it might have a certain level of negativity, a certain level of negative response. That's reason number one. Reason number two is the opposite. It's actually very good, and it's the only game they have for this year from their own studios. And so what they wanted to do is just save it and not reveal it until the time is right so they can pop off, basically. It can just kind of come out of nowhere, take the industry by storm, and suddenly everybody's talking about, holy crap, did you see that Concord gameplay? It's one of those two things. That's the only reason I can think as to why we haven't seen a single glimpse of gameplay yet. But we can imagine in our minds what this game might look like, right? It's a PvP, sci-fi, first-person shooter inspired by Guardians of the Galaxy. I think it's a hero shooter. Everything that they've said about this game tells me this is going to be a hero shooter. Now, I have to admit, hearing it's a hero shooter automatically makes me a little bit less interested because I'm not really into hero shooters and they just don't speak to me. But knowing that it's Sony's first attempt at a proper first-person shooter since what? Killzone Shadowfall? If I'm not mistaken, Killzone Shadowfall is the last proper first-person shooter to come out of a PlayStation studio, and that came out in 2013. So it's been over a decade. I can't deny that I am interested in seeing what a first-person shooter from PlayStation Studios looks like a decade after Killzone Shadowfall. Even if it is a hero shooter, I'll give it a chance. I'll let them show me the game, and I'll judge it then. But a hero shooter, I think, is a little bit risky. I'll be honest. I do think it's risky just because I don't know if the hero shooter genre is oversaturated. I'm going to refer to the chat here. How do you guys feel about the hero shooter market? Would you say it's oversaturated, or would you say that there's still room for it to grow and there's room for other games? Antonio Lopes, I have a question. Not that I'm trying to deviate from the topic here. Was this recent? Yesterday? Okay. That's wild, man. Anyway, well, all right. That's a little bit, I won't lie, that's a little bit disappointing for me. Man, I hope he's wrong, though. I do. I hope he's wrong. Not to deviate from what we were just talking about. I hope it does show up. Not because I'm going to dress up as Big Boss, no, but because I've been I don't know. I want to see more of this game. I feel like it's been a while. Talking about Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta, that is. But yeah, that would be pretty funny. I felt like I was taking a risk last year dressing up as Big Boss. I thought, oh man, if this game doesn't show up and doesn't get revealed here, I'm cooked. I think I got cooked either way, but at least it showed up. That's what mattered. But anyway, getting back on topic here. Would we say that the hero shooter market is... Space Gambler Jr. says big time oversaturated. Didn't they just announce a new Marvel-based hero shooter? And I know there's Overwatch. I don't know how popular Overwatch is anymore. This is what makes me a little bit nervous about this because, this game was probably it was probably in the concept stage in like 2019 and 2020, or that's when it really started development. So was the market saturated in 2019 and 2020? Maybe not as saturated. But again, we don't have confirmation that this is a hero shooter. It's just that everything we've heard about Concord so far, it sounds very much like a hero shooter. And ACM, sorry about that, buddy. I'm going to replay this here. Also, you guys were telling me that the direct donation, when it comes up, you don't hear the sound. And let me try this. Here, I'm going to pop it up one more time, and you tell me if you hear the sound this time, okay? Did you hear it that time? You did hear? Okay. All right. Yeah, it's because I had the desktop audio muted, so apologies for that. But ACM, thank you so much for the direct $5 donation, buddy. You're saying, who needs a showcase when we got MBG? Well, thank you so much, ACM. I don't believe I'm anywhere near as interesting or entertaining as a PlayStation showcase. But, hey, man, I very much appreciate all of you who tune in and watch the streams live. It really does mean a lot. It does. So, ACM, thank you so much for that, buddy. And ACM, I do just want to give you a shout out. I've noticed you've been doing a lot of direct tipping and donations through the link. So, appreciate that, buddy. And we also have Supremacy 101, a member for 4 months. He says Overwatch/Concord sounds to me like, or you're saying, if I'm reading that correctly, you're saying Concord sounds like it could be similar to Overwatch. You're saying, anyhow, if Sony could buy one publisher, for you, which one should it be and why? For me, it's Valve, if not Epic. I could understand why somebody would want to see the acquisition of Valve, I guess, to an extent, because you could have that insane level of integration with Steam. But for me, well, I think if I had to boil it down, I don't want to see Sony acquire any publishers, and I don't think they will. But if they were to acquire one, no matter what, it's just going to happen. I would have to say, I think Konami. And I know that probably doesn't make the most sense business-wise, and I get that. I understand that there are other publishers that maybe would make more business sense, but for me, Konami, I think we could see Sony do some great things with their IP. They still have some development talent, but I do get this feeling that Konami is just kind of still a shell of their former self, unfortunately. They still have this incredibly valuable IP like Metal Gear Solid, Castlevania, Silent Hill, and they're trying to do stuff with it, which I'm happy to see they're trying. But I feel like Sony's just on another level, when it comes to understanding AAA video game publishing in the year 2024. I just don't think Konami fully understands what AAA video game publishing is like in the year 2024. I think they're learning and they're figuring it out and they're playing it safe with some remakes, which is smart. But it would be really cool. For example, like we know that Sony is partnered with Kojima Productions. I mean, if Sony were to acquire Konami and then they acquire the Metal Gear Solid IP, I mean, they could then turn to Kojima and be like, hey, we own MGS now. Do you want to do something with it? I mean, even Silent Hill, stuff like that. But also just the idea of certain PlayStation studios, certain internal PlayStation studios being able to work with some of this beloved IP, I think that would be pretty cool. So Square, yeah, I don't know about Square Enix. I mean, there's been a lot of talk over the years about Sony possibly acquiring Square Enix, but I never really bought it. I never really saw that happening. I always just kind of thought, well, if they wanted to buy them, they would probably just make an offer and try to buy them, not do these partnerships over and over again, So it's a good question, Supremacy. But to be clear, I don't think Sony's going to be buying any publishers. In fact, I don't think Sony's going to be acquiring anybody anytime soon. I think that they had a period of acquisition, and now it's kind of just, we're going to chill out now. Mullen, you're saying MBG, the Concord employees have narrative leads and writers and also PvE combat designers on the team. What does that mean for a PvP hero shooter? Is it going to have mini campaigns for each hero? It's a great question. I actually didn't know that, and I appreciate you letting me know. That's actually valuable to this conversation. If I had to guess, if they have PvE combat designers on the team, but they don't say that there's PvE, my guess is maybe they did add a layer of PvE that is integrated with the PvP aspect, like a PvPvE, I guess, which is a thing in games. It is worth noting that the game has had a whole extra year of development since it was originally announced. And so could they have added PvE elements in that time? It's possible. It's certainly possible. I don't know that I feel like I can say for sure that we can expect that, though, because, again, all they've said is it's a PvP game. But the idea of having writers that are trying to tell a story, yeah, I imagine that there will be like stories attached to each of these characters. And again, this is another reason why I think it's going to be a hero shooter, because that's what we've seen with previous hero shooter games, is you got these unique characters with their own backstories, and part of the draw is to learn about that character, learn about their backstory. How they will present that, though, I'm not sure. But what we will do is we will continue with this write-up from gamesindustry.biz. It says here, Firewalk Studios was set up in 2018 as part of Probably Monsters, a collective of AAA game developers. It was formed by a number of Bungie veterans, including studio head Tony Su. I already read this section. Let me skip ahead here. Firewalk is the 20th developer to join PlayStation Studios. We've had the privilege of working with Probably Monsters and Firewalk for several years, and our teams share the same ambition to create meaningful experiences for gamers, said head of PlayStation Studios, Herman Holst. Firewalk's innovative approach to connected storytelling and its commitment to high-quality gameplay continues to exceed our expectations. I think fans will be very pleased when they see what Firewalk has in store for them. So this, to me, is one of the most telling and important quotes that we have regarding Concord. It doesn't read to me like necessarily PR nonsense. It does reveal, I think, some important things about why Sony decided to purchase Firewalk. So first off, he mentions create meaningful experiences for gaming and ambition. That is, I would say, the more PR statement there. We know that, of course, you're looking for ambitious developers, but he says Firewalk's innovative approach to connected storytelling. Now, that to me speaks to what I just mentioned, how they do have writers working on this. They are doing some type of storytelling, but according to Herman Holst, he believes that the way Firewalk is incorporating it, I mean, he's calling it innovative. So what that tells me, if he's not BSing us, what that tells me is that if this is going to be a hero shooter, the way that Firewalk is going to approach it from a storytelling perspective is going to be very different from anything we've seen. Because if it's not, then I'm not sure how you could call it innovative. But he also mentions their commitment to high quality gameplay continues to exceed their expectations. So that's another very revealing statement by Herman Holst. He straight up says that the gameplay they've shown us is exceeding our expectations. Hence why we decided we're going to buy these guys. We're going to acquire them before they even put this game out because we like what we're seeing that much. So I'm not trying to like hype anybody for the game because, again, we got to see it for ourselves. But yes, if I had to use one word to describe Herman Holst, what he's saying about Concord, what he's saying about Firewalk is a lot of confidence, a lot. And then the last thing he says here, and this is the one that I really gravitate towards because this is going to be a test for Herman Holst. It's a moment where I think he's going to be tested, especially knowing now that he is the CEO. He's one of the two CEOs of PlayStation in its entirety. He says, quote, "I think fans will be very pleased when they see what Firewalk has in store for them," end quote. Now, again, this is Herman Holst straight up saying that what we saw was so good. We fully believe that PlayStation fans, PlayStation players are going to be excited about this, that they're going to be surprised, or as he puts it, pleased with what this game has in store for them. So this is an important moment for me in evaluating Herman Holst because I do believe Herman knows what he's talking about. He comes from Guerrilla Games. He comes from PlayStation Studios. He knows game development, and he, more than most people in the world, should know what the PlayStation audience gravitates towards and what they don't, and what fans would find pleasing and what they wouldn't. Again, he worked on multiple Killzone games. He worked on Horizon Zero Dawn. So this is going to be an important moment, I think, in determining, like, does Herman, how in touch is he really with PlayStation players? Because if he is really in touch, then we should be happy with what we see with Concord. We should walk away being like, wow, this looks great. Or it's going to be a situation where we look back and we're like, yeah, Herman, you really missed the mark on this one. But we got Michael Lynch here with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much for that, buddy. You're saying here, I'm 9 minutes behind. All I care about with Concord is that it doesn't look like cartoonish like Fortnite. Yeah, that's actually something I haven't talked about, is the look of the game. And I guess it's been tough to talk about that aspect because we only have a CG trailer. I mean, I do think that CG trailer is probably trying to give us some level of insight into how the game's going to look. And if we look at that CG trailer, it doesn't look cartoonish, but it definitely looks a little bit stylized. it looks more in line with Destiny, honestly, like Halo and Destiny. And it's interesting because when we hear that Firewalk Studios is made up of former Bungie developers, I feel like you can kind of get that vibe just ever so slightly, even in that CG trailer, where it's like, look, if you look at the thumbnail of my stream, that's one of the screenshots from the trailer where it shows a gun and some bullets sitting next to it. And I just look at it and I'm like, this gives me slight Destiny vibes. Not entirely, but just slightly. And so I don't think it's going to be cartoonish graphics, but I do expect a certain level of stylization with the graphics, maybe like a kind of in-between. I'm not saying that I expect it to be like Destiny. I think there will be certain similarities in the fact that it's a first-person shooter. It's made by former Destiny developers, but I think it will be unique in its own right. But I could see one of the things that is similar is, again, the overall look at the game, maybe. Sort of reminds you of Star Wars Outlaws. Yeah, I could see that. Sounds like MBG isn't giving Herman much rope. Well, listen, to clarify what I said, Capono, if this game looks disappointing to me, I'm not going to say, well, Herman Hulst has no idea what he's doing. No, I'm not going to, that's too extreme. Herman clearly does know what he's doing. Again, he's hugely responsible for Death Stranding and like helping Kojima and giving him the engine. And I'm sure, I'm sure that I'm not saying Herman Hulst played a role in the creative side of it, but I'm just saying that he at least knew, like, yeah, whatever Kojima's going to make, we got to get that on PlayStation, And again, he's the person responsible for Horizon Zero Dawn, which people loved. So it's not like I'm going to say, Herman, you don't know what you're doing as a PlayStation CEO and the head of PlayStation Studios if Concord misses. But it will leave me feeling a little bit less confident in that, okay, maybe on the live service side of things, he doesn't fully know. Because we could say, well, isn't Herman responsible for Helldivers 2? I don't know. Herman became the head of PlayStation Studios in 2019. So maybe. But I guess I'm just saying it'll be fascinating to get this level of insight into what Herman Hulst, as the head of PlayStation Studios and the CEO of PlayStation Studios now, it'll be fascinating to get this level of insight into like what he considers like expectation exceeding gameplay. You know what I mean? Two-hour playable mini campaigns for each character. That would be pretty cool. Yeah, they didn't mention anything about any type of single player, which is interesting. And we have 3 super chats back to back from Supremacy 101. Really appreciate that, buddy. You're saying if they go all out in one purchase, I say Valve, because then they can get a grip on the PC market. That 30% can be waived off because, they'll just be playing themselves at that point. So releasing their games on multiple platforms, PS5/PC, would make more sense. This one acquisition would accelerate their PC plans for sure, and do so in a manner that actually makes more sense for them, keeping it all in-house. Your logic is sound, Supremacy. I do think that. Going back to the acquisition talk, I think what you're saying here about Sony and Valve, yeah, the logic is there. The only problem, Supremacy, is that I don't think there's any chance whatsoever of this ever being a possibility. Valve, to me, seems like the type of company that it values its independence, at least under Gabe Newell. I just don't think he has any desire whatsoever to sell to anybody. Not Sony, not Microsoft, not Google, not Amazon, not Meta. I think Valve is just like, look, we do what we do. You're saying he's just casually describing a monopoly. It would be problematic, yes. If Valve got purchased by anybody, it would be problematic in my opinion. Again, I can see if you're looking at it from Sony's perspective, where Sony wants to get a stronghold on the PC market, or a foothold, I should say, Yeah, I mean, the logic adds up. It makes sense from a business perspective, but I don't know, man. A company like Valve, for me, needs to stay independent. I don't want to see any, to be honest, I don't want to see any more publishers purchased. I don't want to see any more industry consolidation. Like, if we're talking about smaller developers or even like mid-sized developers, okay, I could see that continuing. But when it comes to massive purchases, I've always been against them because it always just seems to me like it's a slippery slope where I think at first it comes off like a good thing, like, oh yeah, this is going to be great. But then as soon as the going gets tough, it's like you realize like, oh, actually, no, hold on. This might not be as good of an idea as we originally thought. So I just think we need to look at the studio, all of the publishers and the studios out there, and just hope that they can remain independent and that the industry can flow smoothly enough to allow them to remain independent. That's my hope anyway. And Supremacy 101 with another $2 super chat says, I mean, there are rumors that Microsoft is thinking about it. I saw that. I think those rumors were like immediately debunked, but I also saw people mentioning that these rumors have been lingering for like years. Like, there's always been this perpetual rumor of Microsoft having some level of interest in purchasing Valve. And I think this might be just naturally because Microsoft is Windows, But Supremacy, when it comes to any major acquisitions, I think at this point in time, it's crystal clear that Sony's not going to be making any major publisher acquisitions anytime remotely soon. I just don't see it happening, just for the simple fact that they're in talks apparently to try to acquire Paramount. And clearly when it comes to major acquisitions of any kind, Sony is looking in a different direction away from gaming. I think Bungie is the biggest acquisition we're going to see out of them, and I don't think it's going to get any bigger than that. But Supremacy, I do very much appreciate your super chats, buddy. And Corey, yeah, we're gonna get that. We're gonna get a box for Boss. Where is Boss? Oh, jeez, you just snuck up on me there. Hello, Boss. Are you okay? Corey, I think Boss knows when you're trying to communicate with him, man. Like, for real. We do got to get a big box, a big cardboard box for Boss, though. I just got to figure out where to get one. I haven't ordered anything from like Amazon anytime recently that's going to ship a box big enough. Guys, we're going to continue with the rest of this article, though, and we're going to finish it up and continue our conversation about Concord. But before we do, I want to ask you to do me a quick favor and hit the like button for me. We're already sitting at 143 likes. Thank you so much for that. Let's see if we could get that up to 150, maybe even 175 likes. Every like helps out the channel. Oh my God, Boss, your tongue is like pure sandpaper, bro. You want more snacks? Is that what it is? He just aggressively licked my forearm. He like never does that. Link to the article. It's just gamesindustry.biz. It's an article from April 20th, 2023. You could just simply Google Firewalk Studios gamesindustry.biz and it'll probably be the first one that comes up. But Boss, let's get you a couple more snacks here, buddy. We're feeding the beast twice. Right here. Are you full? Wait, is he actually full for once? Here, buddy. Come on. Whoa, easy. That's what I thought. I was going to say, no way. Boss never gets full. Not with snacks. I'm just giving him a little bit more because I'm trying to finish off the remainder of the snacks in this container. There's only a little bit left. MBG Concord blog says something about varied planets/environments. That makes me think PvP maps will be procedural. So no two maps ever the same. Unprecedented for PvP games. That would be very interesting. We don't have confirmation of that, but that's an interesting idea. That's an interesting thought. I'm interested. I have to say, I'm fascinated. I'm ready to see Concord and find out that, okay, this game isn't for me. I'm ready for that. But until I see it, going over everything I know about it and all the info that we have at our disposal, yeah, I'm interested. I'm interested to see it. Continues here by saying, studio head Tony Hsu added that we've assembled an amazing team at Firewalk Studios built specifically to bring memorable multiplayer experiences to players around the world. SIE has supported our team's vision from the beginning, and with the incredible creative power of the PlayStation Studios ecosystem, this exciting next step will help us transform that vision into a reality. The acquisition is part of PlayStation's push into live service games with 10 projects currently in development. Again, this was written up over a year ago, so we know that some of these projects were canceled and didn't work out. Firewalk Studios is led by a world-class team that is highly experienced and deeply passionate about creating exceptional multiplayer games that foster memorable shared experiences, stated Sony Interactive Entertainment CEO and President Jim Ryan. I'm confident the studio's upcoming project will be a robust addition to PlayStation Studios' portfolio, and its live service and technology expertise will be instrumental in helping grow PlayStation's reach. Firewalk will no longer be part of Probably Monsters, which was founded by CEO Harold Ryan, former Bungie CEO, president, and chairman, and is all about building sustainable teams making original AAA games. Probably Monsters is incredibly proud of the team and the game we incubated and built over the past few years, said Ryan. Firewalk Studios joining PlayStation Studios is a brilliant move for the team, game, and future players. Our goal at Probably Monsters is to find the best path to market for all of our games, and we couldn't be happier for the Firewalk team. So, yeah, this is all of the information we currently have about Concord, and we also got a little bit of extra info apparently with some of the developers and the positions that they have, where there is going to be some level of narrative, and there's even mentions of PvE, which is fascinating. So yeah, the game has been in development since 2018. We're looking at a development cycle of about 5 to 6 years here. So this game is no doubt a AAA title through and through. It's a new IP, and I want to highlight that as well. I do want to highlight that. Listen, I do think it's a little bit unfair that people say, I want new AAA IP from PlayStation, and then when we get a new AAA IP, I think that there are too many people that act like, well, it's not exactly the thing I wanted, so it doesn't matter. You know, I think that we need to be a little bit more objective about it and acknowledge that, listen, Concord may not be the new AAA IP that you were hoping for, and it might not be for you, but it still is something we should acknowledge. We should call it what it is, and it is a new AAA IP. Will it be good? Well, that's what we're all waiting to find out. But this is another factor for me that makes me interested in seeing it and finding out if it's going to be a game for me, because we don't get new AAA IP all that often anymore in the industry as a whole. I mean, it's the most risky thing out there. And yeah, I can say for me that when I think of new AAA IP from PlayStation Studios, a PvP, FPS, potential hero shooter, maybe hero shooter or not, I don't know, but that's not the first thing I think of. And so, yeah, my excitement is not through the roof. It wouldn't be as high if this was a single player narrative driven game that was, you know, going to be, I guess, more in line with what you would expect, traditionally speaking. But that's where I'm just kind of taking this middle stance where, okay, you have my interest, show me what you got. And if it looks good, I'll be there, man. I'll be there. I'll play it, certainly. If anything, people should look at something like Helldivers 2 as proof that a game can have very little going for it, but once it drops and once it's in the hands of players, it can achieve things that nobody ever expected, even the people making the game themselves. I think Helldivers 2 is a good reminder of that. And that's not me saying that Concord will be the next Helldivers 2 or will be as successful as Helldivers 2. I'm not saying that. I'm just simply pointing out that you just don't know. You just don't know. And what's even more interesting about Helldivers 2 compared to Concord is we did know what Helldivers 2 looked like. We saw gameplay. We literally saw gameplay. We saw trailers. And even then, people were still lukewarm on it. Even then, people were still like, yeah, it looks like it could be fun. But believe me, and I know because I was watching, there was nobody hyping this game as this is the next big thing. Nobody. And so I just think it's worth keeping this in mind when we approach a game like Concord and others like it, not just from Sony, but generally speaking. You just never know what's going to be the next big hit. Gameplay is king, absolutely. Digital Dude 25 with a $2 super chat says, imagine Nathan Drake in The Last of Us world. He'd probably do just fine, Digital Dude. Nathan Drake, he seems like a survivor. What do you guys think? Do you think Nathan Drake would do well in the world of The Last of Us? I think he would. I think he would change. Boss, this is coffee. This is coffee, bro. Broccoli Rob coming in with his $2 super chat saying, what's up, MBG and homies? Hey, can I borrow $1? Guys, can Broccoli Rob borrow $1? His famous tagline, can I borrow $1? Here's $2. Can I borrow $1? Yeah, Antonio in the chat. I saw that, buddy. I don't know if I'm going to continue to follow the leaks too much. Like, I want to because I'm very interested in Resident Evil and where it's headed, but I feel like the rumors about Resident Evil, they've been a little bit all over the place. And I don't know, it's a little bit disappointing. So for those who don't know, the original rumor from Dust Golem was that Resident Evil 9 is set to be revealed very soon. And from what we know, from what we've heard about Resident Evil 9, it sounds like it's going to be awesome. I would love to do a dedicated stream talking about it in the future once we get more concrete info, like an actual reveal. But now he's saying that it's actually been somewhat delayed to like 2025, 2026, and that the reveal might not be coming this summer. And, you know, we went from the rumor being it's going to be revealed this year very soon, and it's going to release possibly in January of next year, to actually know it's delayed by a year and it's probably not going to be revealed this year. Like that to me is very annoying because it's like the level of inconsistency with that, you know, is like, those are almost like polar opposites. And I get it. I know it's hard for some leakers and whatever, and they're getting information from their sources, but it could just be a little bit frustrating. And I'm at a point, I think, with Resident Evil where I'm not entirely sure yet. I might still do a dedicated stream talking about it if we get more info soon, but I think I'm just going to kind of leave it as, all right, well, the rumors for Resident Evil seem to be a little bit mixed and a little bit messy, so let's just wait and see what happens. Because this kind of whole, I heard this yesterday, but then I heard this today, but then tomorrow I might hear this thing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I cover this stuff, but at times it can't, you know, it's like with the PlayStation rumors with the show, right? Like, is it a showcase? Is it a state of play? Is it this? It's like, I'm just at a point where it's like, listen, I've covered so much and there's been so much back and forth. I'm just going to wait and let Sony announce what they want to announce because it's getting a little bit much now. Gaming Survivor saying, did you see Mystic's video on half of the PS4 owners haven't upgraded to PS5 yet? Potential PS5 Pro sales? I did see that. Yeah, that was a good video he put out. Yeah, we talked about that extensively yesterday, Gaming Survivor, about why people are still, chilling on PlayStation 4 and don't seem so eager to upgrade to the PS5. And I mean, we do have to question, like, what role is the PS5 Pro going to play here? Also, is Concord going to be a PS5 Pro game? Speaking of that. It is coming out this year. The PS5 Pro is coming out at the end of this year. Is this going to be the first PS5 Pro game we see? MBG, can you name a PS5 only first-person shooter multiplayer? No, I don't think I can. I think this is going to be the first of its kind for Sony. Astrobot will be the first PS5 Pro game? You're probably right. That would make a lot of sense. The Finals. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I forgot about that game, The Finals. How's that game doing now? Mag. What a classic. Mag. A lot of people, I think, would love to see Mag return. We have Digital Dude 25 again with another $2 super chat saying Kratos versus the Rat King from The Last of Us 2. Well, I think we know how that ends. Digital Dude has all these different fantasies about different PlayStation characters in different worlds and different scenarios. It is interesting to think about. But I can tell you right now, Kratos in The Last of Us 2 facing the Rat King, it's over before it even begins. Kratos would just rip that thing to shreds. At least that's how I see it going down in my mind. But when it comes to our conversation about Concord, I do think that there's a lot of potential here. And I think that's where I want to kind of shift this conversation. When we consider, like I said earlier, that Sony has not released a new first-person shooter from an internal PlayStation studio since Killzone Shadowfall. And you know what's sad about it too is that ever since Killzone Shadowfall released, people have been very much asking Sony to do something more in this space. People want to see Killzone return. People want to see Resistance return. And unfortunately, it just doesn't seem like those games are coming back. At least as of right now. It doesn't seem like we're getting a new Killzone anytime soon. It doesn't seem like we're getting a new Resistance anytime soon. But this is what we are getting. And I just want to remind people that when the first Killzone was revealed and announced, it was a new IP. It was a brand new game, a brand new world. And I know Guerrilla Games was around prior to Killzone, but it felt like it was a brand new studio at the time. And granted, I know that there's one big aspect to this missing that I think some people are going to feel, no matter what, somewhat disappointed about. And it's that, as of right now, there is no confirmation of any single-player component for Concord. And I understand completely why there are going to be some people that are like, well, I'm already not interested. If I can't play it solo, I'm good. I'm out. I get that. But I guess I'm just trying to encourage people to just have a little bit of an open mind, because every game that we think about now that we would love to see come back, like a Resistance, like a Killzone, or even like a SOCOM, we do need to remember that at one point in time, those games started as brand new IPs that we didn't know really anything about, and we had to give a chance. And it was us giving it that chance that made us realize, actually, this is great. And then before you know it, you're a fan of the game and what eventually turns into a series. So that's all. I'm just telling people to keep a bit of an open mind here. And you could end up being pleasantly surprised. Digital Dude 25 with another matchup here. Kratos versus Boozer from Days Gone. I'll be honest with you, Digital Dude. I'll be honest with you right now. And putting Kratos against any regular character or even moderately enhanced character, Kratos is a god, bro. He's gonna rip him to shreds. I saw Corey mentioned Kratos versus Nemesis. Now that's an interesting one. I do think Kratos would still win that, certainly, but I think Nemesis would give Kratos a bit of a run for his money. Boozer from Days Gone. Unless he has some kind of secret superpower that we don't know about. Kratos versus Dante. That would be an interesting one. That would be a very interesting one. Kratos versus Superman. I think Superman wins that one. Truthfully. Superman seems just unfairly powerful. Like, am I the only one who feels that way? Superman. He's like untouchable. I don't know. Kratos is smart though. Like, Kratos is a war general, so Kratos would probably figure out how to acquire kryptonite and how to use it against him. He'd probably craft some kind of weapon. Can't underestimate Kratos like that, you know? Yeah. Jay Shako says Kratos is a god. Superman isn't necessarily a god. I mean, I know Superman isn't like a god, but when he's on planet Earth, he may as well be, you know? You think the Hulk would beat Superman? That's true, Neo. Batman defeated Superman. Yeah, maybe Superman isn't as strong as we think. I guess it's just one of these things where it's like, we always have to make sure that there's some kind of obvious weakness for Superman, because if not, he really is just unstoppable. I do wonder if Kratos could end up being the most powerful of everybody we're listing here. Broccoli Rob, a member for 11 months, says, do you think there will be enough first-party games releasing over the next 4 years to warrant a PS5 Pro purchase given the length of development? That's a very good question. I do think yes, honestly, Broccoli Rob, I do, because when I think of the amount of studios that should be ready to go between now and you're saying the next 4 years, so that would be 2028. When I think of the amount of studios that should be ready to release a game between now and then, it becomes an easy yes. I do think so. Obviously, if you want to wait for PlayStation 6, the PlayStation 6 will be backwards compatible with the PlayStation 5. If you're able to do that, if you have the discipline and you can just kind of wait for the games, even after they release, probably the better way to go. We all know that. You know, you are rewarded for waiting, but waiting is very difficult, and you do kind of have to miss out, at least initially. But if you're somebody who is basing whether or not you should consider buying a PS5 Pro or upgrading to a PS5 Pro on how many games PlayStation Studios are going to have ready to go between now and 2028. I mean, look, man, I'm not saying you're going to get a game from every single studio. I'm not saying that, but I am confident that you're going to get a good, healthy amount of games from a healthy amount of studios over the next 4 years, that if Sony and their studios play their cards right, the second half of the PlayStation 5 generation could be one of the most memorable ever. That's how I feel about that, Broccoli Rob. So take it for what you will. As always, I could be wrong. But that's just my opinion on it. And we have Digital Dude 25 with another $2 super chat with a surprising matchup: Kratos versus Sackboy. That's a tough one. I think Sackboy wins that. I think Sackboy wins that one. No, I'm just kidding. Sackboy gets decimated. Kratos flicks Sackboy and Sackboy just explodes. However, Digital Dude 25, if you were to say Kratos versus Knack, I think we know who wins that. I think we know who wins that. Sackboy can craft worlds out of thin air. Yeah, maybe he could just mess with Kratos. You know, talking about these matchups, Sony, can we get a PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale 2, please? Max Payne versus John Wick. That's a good one. I think John Wick wins because John Wick has close quarters combat. Like, he's clearly an expert in close quarters combat. And I as far as I'm aware, I don't think Max Payne has those skills. But that would be, yeah. Man, I miss Max Payne. I am very much looking. You know what makes me really sad about the Max Payne remakes that are being developed by Remedy? I'm happy for the remakes, and I think it's going to be one package, by the way. I think that the Max Payne remakes are going to be Max Payne 1 and 2 packaged together, if I'm not mistaken. What makes me sad about it, though, is that the voice actor, James McCaffrey, I think his name was, he passed away. So that means we're going to have a new voice for Max Payne. And, you know, it's totally okay. I mean, the man passed away. You can't do anything about that. But there's no denying that when I think of Max Payne, it reminds me very much of how I feel about Snake. When I think of Snake, there's a specific voice I hear, and that's David Hayter's voice. And when I think of Max Payne, it's no different. I hear James McCaffrey's voice. And if you played Alan Wake 2, yeah, rest in peace. He was a great actor. If you played Alan Wake 2, he played a vital role. I forget the name of the character. Casey, I think, is who he played. And it was just heard Max Payne the whole time, you know? And that was his final performance, not as Max Payne, but in a game, I believe. So hopefully they can get somebody new that sounds like him. You're thinking they might use the original voiceover? That would be cool. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. I don't know, though, because I imagine there's going to have to be some tweaks made, but maybe you're right. Maybe that's their plan. Xbox is King says, you guys know you can literally give AI a sample of your voice and it will talk in your voice. Yeah, but I think that's kind of muddy waters in this case, you know? Like maybe, I don't know, maybe he consented to that. Maybe that's something Remedy asked, to get his consent before he passed away, where it says, yeah, like you can use my voice and AI in future projects. Maybe, I don't know. That'd be pretty cool. As long as they gave their consent, I'd be cool with that. CQC, MBG's favorite tactics in MGS. It is, yes. Yes. You heard a lot of actors are selling their likeness. I think I heard about that too, yeah. And Digital Dude 25 with another $2 super chat. Wow, this is a wild matchup. Kratos versus GTA 6. Just the entirety of GTA 6. I don't know, man. GTA 6 has got a crushing amount of weight behind it. I don't think Kratos wins that one. There's just too much. The hype factor for GTA 6 is too high. Kratos can't withstand that hype factor, bro. It's overwhelming. Even for a god. Even for a god, digital dude. Digital dude sitting there right now thinking like, I gotta think of something even crazier. An even crazier matchup. Kratos with a 6-star wanted level. I mean, look, if we're talking about literally GTA 6, like the world of GTA 6, Kratos could destroy that world easily. Sometimes Kratos feels unfairly powerful, you know? Anybody get that feeling sometimes? Because it's interesting how, like, if you play God of War 2018 and Ragnarok, there are like moments where he seems like somewhat weakened, but then you just kind of realize, like, nah, he's not. He's not. Like, he could actually just destroy anything. He can't die, man. Kratos can't die. He's never met bullets. Yeah, that's true. I wonder. Yeah, I do wonder how a bullet would affect Kratos. Would it do anything? Would a bullet do anything to Kratos? Bullets can't kill gods. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, would he just be like Wolverine and just like eat the bullets and just heal like quickly? Because you know what's funny is when I've been watching all the X-Men movies again, and it's interesting how when you play God of War 2018 and he's fighting Baldur, that's kind of what he just has like a healing ability. Like by the end of that fight, he was like all messed up and limping, and he just kind of like, you know, self-healed. It just took a little bit of effort. Yeah, that's true. Kratos has gotten stabbed, straight up impaled and whatnot. So yeah, bullet probably wouldn't do anything. He survived the Sword of Olympus. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think there's anything that can take Kratos down, man. His name means power. Kratos is an awesome character though. I am going to be really interested to see where they take Kratos, cuz after playing the God of War Valhalla DLC, which let me tell you, if you played God of War 2018, if you played any of the God of War games, but you know, if you played God of War 2018 and you played Ragnarok, you got to play the Valhalla DLC because it really, I think, is important to Kratos' character. Being a god doesn't make you immortal, says Devil Shooter. Yeah, that's the whole thing. Is I feel like it was, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like Kratos isn't actually immortal. He's just really, 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 really hard to kill. I mean, yeah, he did kill other gods, so it proves that gods can die. I guess it would take a really, really powerful god to kill him. Not a conversation I was planning on having today about Kratos, but I wonder if Concord is going to have any like tie-ins with other PlayStation games. Here's a Kratos skin. Or maybe like weapon skins. Since it's an FPS, they'll probably have a lot of weapon skins. They could do like a bunch of crossovers with other PlayStation titles. It's interesting. I on Twitter today, seen a lot of people talking about the PlayStation Showcase. A lot of people posting. Oh, what is this? Hold on now. Hold on. I got to look into this for a moment. Okay. Not necessarily good news if you're hoping for a showcase. It's not, no, I wouldn't call it breaking news. Just something that caught my attention that I wasn't aware of. Before I talk about that, though, we have Digital Dude 25 again dropping these $2 matchup super chats. Kratos versus Boss the Cat. Uh-oh. Now I'm really curious to see what you guys have to say. Kratos versus Boss the Cat. Who wins? Dan, you're saying people are getting mad? Yeah. Boss for sure. News El Breako. Well, check this out. As I was on Twitter today, I was seeing a lot of different posts popping up from a lot of different individuals basically saying, is today the day we get the showcase announcement? Is this the week of the showcase? And there is this individual on X, formerly known as Twitter. Hold on, let me give you the context here. Give me one moment. I might save this as a topic for tomorrow. I don't know. Well, I'll tell you guys what it is now because I feel bad. I don't want to leave you on the hook. And you could probably find it yourself. But we might talk more extensively about this tomorrow. Like, this could be a dedicated topic. It depends on if we get more info. But I came across this article from WCCF Tech. A PlayStation showcase may be planned for September to follow this month's rumored state of play presentation, according to rumors circulating online. A few hours ago, Lunatic Ignis, who previously revealed a new Black Myth Wukong trailer would be shared earlier this month before it actually went live, said on X today that a new PlayStation showcase will be held in September. So, okay. I mean, I don't know how reliable this person is. Their bio on X on their profile says, I know gaming related things. And this person says, do you know something about a Sony showcase? And he simply replies, September. So saying LOL, now it's September. Well, it would have to be September, to be honest. If there's no showcase this month or in June, then it would have to be September. Only, if anything, just because they have a PS5 Pro they have to reveal, for God's sake, you know? But he could just be taking an educated guess. But I talked to you guys about this yesterday. I don't know if I'm going to make a whole dedicated topic to that or not. I feel like we would need some corroboration here. We would need another valid source to come out and corroborate that the showcase is happening in September. Because until we get that, it's just one person saying one word and not adding any context. Well, I've already settled on, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a state of play. And I think what will be different about the state of play is Sony's going to be willing to actually talk about some first party stuff. Not a lot. I think it's going to be Concord mainly that they talk about, but it'll be first party nonetheless. And if we are going to get a showcase this year, I think it's coming later on. I don't think there's a showcase. I'm not convinced at all at this point. So it is what it is. Yeah, that's another thing too. The 30th anniversary of PlayStation is happening this year in December. So is Concord multi-platform? It's technically yes, I guess. It's releasing on PC day and date. So it's a PS5 and PC game. You think Sony will have a showcase in September alongside the PS5 Pro? Yeah, I mean, again, logically speaking, it does add up. You could kind of see why Sony would want to save a showcase for the PS5 Pro and not do it before, but Money with a $2 super chat says, Sony sucks this generation. So sad to hear that. Yeah, there's going to be frustration no matter what, for sure. And it's understandable. It's understandable. I don't think it's unfair of anybody to expect a showcase from Sony right now. And I can fully get behind feeling a bit frustrated if it is just the state of play. But, you know, I want to be fair towards the state of play itself. I want to be fair towards whatever might show up, because I don't want, like, for example, what I mean is, if there is going to be a state of play tomorrow or the next day or something, and it's actually good, and there are good games showing up that I'm actually excited by, I don't want to sit there and be like, but it's not a showcase, so I'm angry. You know what I mean? Like, I want to just take it for what it is. And I guess that's why I've just kind of already accepted, like, all right, there's no showcase till later this year. Now, here's the ironic part, though. You want to hear the ironic part about this conversation? Is that if Sony decides to wait to do a showcase until September, that's still summer. I think a lot of people forget that September is still summer. At least like the first 3 weeks of September are summer. So if somebody says Sony's not doing a summer showcase, if they do a showcase the first or second week of September, that's a summer showcase. It's just the end of summer. So I know that's being a bit facetious, or not facetious, but a bit, splitting of the hairs there, but it's still true, you know? You know how the saying goes, it isn't over till it's over. And when we're talking about summer showcase season, yeah, it applies there too. So, listen, I don't mind waiting as long as the wait is worth it. We doing semantics now? Well, no, because even if September still is summer, it's still a ways away from now. So there is still the frustration of having to wait. But for me, all I can say is I don't mind waiting as long as the wait is worth it. That's all that matters. If you rush something and it's disappointing, then what's the point? If you try to put something together and it's not ready, then what's the point? But if you are going to make, people wait, just make sure it's worth the wait. That's all that really matters. We do need to hear Mark Cerny talk about the Pro, yes. We have Arnie Vesper here with a super chat saying, I'm behind, but Kratos died plenty when I played him. But he came back, though, right? Arnie, he came back, right? And we have Money with another $2 super chat saying, now I have to watch Xbox and beg for games. LOL JK. Yeah, apparently these days, if you just tune in to a show that shows PlayStation games, you're a port beggar. Weird. Not really sure how that works. People are crazy these days, bro. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be tuning into Xbox's showcase, though. Truthfully. I don't think I'm going to watch it. Man, he's eating these crumbs. He's not letting anything past him. Bro, did you not have enough? He's looking at me like, yeah, you're going to give me more snacks or what? Rudy, you're saying I don't believe you? MBG, you got to clean your chat up a bit. Too many hate viewers here. Who's hate viewing? I don't like hate views. I don't want hate views. If you're here to hate view, listen, I'll only accept a hate view if you're supporting the channel directly. I'm just kidding. I still won't even want that. Please don't hate view. If you're not enjoying the content, please go elsewhere. I'm asking politely. If you do enjoy the content, then please, by all means, stay. But I don't understand hate viewership, and I'm not an advocate for it. You want me to guess? Saying Xbox is king is a hate viewer? I mean, it's hard. I'll be honest with you, man. With that name, coming into this chat with that name, it's like, all right, I feel like something's gonna go down in the chat. Just keep it civil. Listen, I'm not a fan of trying to like kick people out or anything. You know, I like to say everybody's welcome here. Just try to keep it civil. Just try to be nice to one another, as nice as you can. We're just talking video games. It's not that serious at the end of the day, you know? You're saying you think I would want to watch it just for being a gamer? I mean, yeah, I'll probably watch it. I just don't know if I'm going to stream it. I'll probably tune into it. Yeah, I think I said that wrong. I'll tune into it, but I don't know if I'm going to stream it. You guys want me to stream it? We'll see. We have a little bit of time. Oh, boss, your hair, bro. All right. Oh, jeez. Leia's hair's almost... Boss, we got to clean you up, man. You're getting way too much hair everywhere. Look at this. I think he's enjoying it. I think this feels good for him. Oh, man, look at what he did to my shirt. No hate viewing the Xbox showcase. Yeah, Angry Well Watcher, I think what we're going to do is we're just going to set up a stream that day where we talk about brush removal for 2.5 hours. Oh, man. Boss, I love you, dude, but jeez, this is a bit much with the hair. How, like, I don't understand how cats can shed this much. Like, how are you not bald? Did you get the grooming glove? They love that. Oh, okay, that sounds interesting. I guess it's probably like a cat brush, but like you wear it as a glove. Yeah, that I didn't think about that. That's a pretty good idea. Garden maintenance stream, June 9th. You have the most savvy brush removal tips. The Days of Play is up on the Brazilian store. Is it? Really? Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna watch the Xbox showcase no matter what. Just like I watch all the other showcases. I just don't know if I'm going to stream it or not. We'll see as we get closer. Money, you're saying you gotta... Hold on. If I'm reading this correctly, Money, you're saying you gotta not let Sony kill your joy for games? You worded it very strangely here, Money. You're going to have to confirm to me whether or not I'm reading this correctly. Hold on. Get down. Get down. Down. No. Not up there. Rudy, you guys demand a stream. I'll think about it. For sure. I'll definitely think about it. Antonio Lopes saying someone on the PlayStation OT and reset error saying it. We also have Sean Mitchell. Thank you for the super chat, buddy. You're saying the third... I don't know why I said the third. Hold on. Boss, you're making it difficult to read these super chats. Go. Get. Here. Play with that. Sean, let's try this again. You're saying the thing that annoys me about PlayStation showcases is that we are always left in the dark. That's one thing I can't fault with Xbox. Good or bad, they always have something to show around June. Yeah, it's definitely a different approach between the both of them. I can understand both approaches, and I think there's pros and cons to both. I think when you look at the Sony side of things, the pro to not showing things and kind of leaving people in the dark for maybe even an extended period of time is you get to save the excitement of the reveal and couple it with, oh, by the way, it's really close to being finished and it's going to release soon. That's a pro to that. But obviously the con is you got to wait. And for the time you're waiting, you're just going to have no idea. And I do think that with Sony's approach, it doesn't generate as much fanfare, unfortunately. But the thing is when they decide, okay, now it's time, it hits you hard and it hits you fast. And it can overtake Hold on. Okay. Guys, I'm going to have to escort Boss out of here. What are you doing? He's doing some nonsense trying to get my attention here. Can you just let me respond to the super chat, Boss? I'd really appreciate that, bro. He's messing around my entertainment center, and he never does that. I can tell he's trying to troll me. My own cat's trying to troll me on my stream. Come on. Don't I get enough grief? But yeah, I mean, I imagine one of the problems that Sony would face if they were to take the opposite approach like you're describing, where if they were to make sure that they have a good amount to talk about every year, I think there would be a lot of repeats. I think that they kind of had this problem with the PS4 in that in 2015 and 2016, they had these major showcases and reveals that were just mind-blowingly awesome. But then in 2017 and 18, they kind of struggled because we knew everything. And so they still showed up and they still had stuff to show, but it was like another trailer or just like an update on a game that we already knew about, but minimal new game reveals in and of themselves. And there's also the difference in Sony and Microsoft as publishers. And the fact that, Microsoft now owns many more studios. And because of just the sheer volume of studios they have, they will likely have more ready to show sooner at any given time. Not sooner, but just at any given time, right? Just because of the sheer amount of studios. Sony has, I think, about half the amount of the studios that Microsoft does. So, yeah, I think because of that, there has to be a different approach, a different strategy. But, yeah, I'm trying to see the pros and cons to everything here. That's all. because I do still want a roadmap. I would like Sony to talk about their games a little bit sooner, but from their perspective, I can understand why they're maybe just deciding we're going to just wait until the studios are ready. When they tell us they're ready, then we'll let them go. And it's hard for me to argue against that. You know what I'm saying? Where if Sony goes to like Santa Monica, Cory Barlog's team, and it's like, hey, you guys going to have a trailer, like a reveal trailer ready to go for your new IP? And they're like, we don't feel ready. Like, we don't feel confident. I'm not saying that. See, there are deadlines, of course. It's not like Sony is just sitting there saying, take as long as you need. We'll wait another 3 years before we even reveal your game. They're not doing that. But I guess it's just like, it's within reason. You know what I mean? Like, can we afford to give them another 6 months to reveal their game? If the answer is yes and everything's fine, okay. If the answer is no, like, we need something from you now, they could do that. And I think they've done that in the past. And, you know, I think that's kind of, again, the pros and the cons of this whole situation, where it's nice to have that yearly event guaranteed. But, you know, it's easy as the person viewing the event to forget that there's a lot of pressure. You know, there's a lot of pressure on, and it goes for Microsoft as well. It goes for anybody who's doing an annual event. There's a lot of pressure on the teams to be like, guys, whatever you're working on, take a break. You got to like carve out a section. You got to make a new trailer. You got to spend time doing that because we need to show. And it's tough. You know, it's tough. I think it requires a balance. And I do think that, here's what I think. If Sony can put on a showcase this year, maybe it won't happen this month. Maybe it won't happen in June. But if they put on a showcase this year, even if it is in September, as long as they make it really good and worthwhile, that's all that matters. The worst case scenario is no showcase. The second worst case scenario is another disappointing showcase. I don't mind if Sony's like, listen, you're going to have to wait a couple more months. Fine. But it needs to be worth it because, yeah, we can't. I'm willing to give Sony that room to be able to say, let your teams do what you got to do, give them the extra time they need, and when you think the time is right, let's do it. But at the same time, again, it can't be off balance where it's like, well, you had a bad showcase last year, and then the year prior you didn't have a showcase at all. That's where things get a little too crazy, where it's like, whoa, hold on. There has to be some level of communication and fanfare here. There has to be some level. Antonio Lopes, you're saying MBG, the link is up on the Reset Era PSOT. Good stuff. Spider-Man 2, FF7 Rebirth, MLB, Tekken 8. But the prices aren't up yet, so the announcement is coming rather soon. Okay, I wonder if it will be announced today. And Sean Mitchell with another super chat says, leaks have also been very damaging to PlayStation's IPs. Yeah, when you talk about leaks causing damage, I immediately just think of Naughty Dog. I mean, now I think of Naughty Dog and Insomniac. It is unfortunate. See, that's the whole thing here. When I talk about balance, I like getting an occasional PlayStation leak, right? I don't think anybody is against that, but there is a big difference between a little snippet of info leaking. For example, like, I heard Naughty Dog's new game is a new IP and it's like fantasy based or something like that, or sci-fi or whatever, you know? Oh, cool. There's a difference between that and like, oh, this entire studio and all of their games or their entire game is compromised. That sucks. Like what happened to Insomniac last year. Don't get me wrong. It's very interesting to see all of this information and to learn about it. And you really start to get this kind of like, whoa, now I feel like I've just learned so much about, I mean, honestly, I feel like I've learned too much about PlayStation's business and what's going on. And it felt overwhelming and almost just wrong, where it's like, look, man, I just wanted a little bit of new info on Wolverine. I didn't want this. I don't want to know Insomniac's entire roadmap to the year 2035. I don't need to know the sales numbers of every single game. I don't need to know, the entire plot of Wolverine. Yeah, I don't need to see like every early snippet of in progress Wolverine gameplay and stuff like that. That to me was disappointing, because it's like, this is just wrong. This is just too much. And obviously with Naughty Dog, that's happened to them as well. And so I agree that these leaks, look, I cover them and I try to delegate what I'm going to cover with some of these leaks. Like for example, with the Insomniac thing, I didn't show any Wolverine gameplay. I didn't talk about anything related to the Wolverine story because I didn't spoil any of that for myself. I didn't want to do that. But I just basically kept it simple as like, okay, I saw some gameplay snippets. Here's what I think of it. And here's Insomniac's roadmap of games. But outside of that, it's like, I don't feel right covering anything more because it's just too much. It's just, I'm not trying to go over every minute detail of here's all you need to know about PlayStation Studio Insomniac games. And then by the time you go over all that information, it's like, whoa, we're like one step away from getting people's social security numbers. It's insane. It's insane how, just how damaging some of these leaks really can be. But I prefer just little micro doses of leaks, just a little something here and there. That's it. That's all we need. We don't need we don't need full-blown documents leaking out and stuff. It's too much. I didn't even know that was a thing, Antonio. You're saying you saw Troy Baker test audition for Wolverine? Yeah, I didn't even know that was a thing. You're saying you don't like leak surprises are a big part of gaming? Yeah. I prefer the types of leaks that leave some surprise left. Again, it would be like, oh, it just leaked out that Naughty Dog's next game is a single player new IP that is going to push the limits of. It's going to be like one of the most graphically impressive games ever. Like, to me, that's a leak that doesn't ruin my excitement. If anything, it piques my interest even more, where it's like, oh, okay. And I'm totally fine with stuff like that. But if it's like, oh, here's the name of Naughty Dog's next game, here's the characters you're playing as, here's the premise of the story, here's the setting, here's all these details. To me, those kind of leaks are not fun because it does completely sap any excitement from a potential reveal. Saying Velocity, you're saying you hope they have a really good showcase for September. If not, it would be pretty problematic. I agree. Yeah, if they don't do a showcase this month or next month and they want to save it for September, but then it turns out they're not doing it's only going to be an okay showcase, I do think that would be problematic. I do agree. I will say it does feel like, except for the Insomniac leak, it feels like there hasn't been too much leaking out of PlayStation and PlayStation Studios. Like, the leaks that we've been getting have been pretty minor. Like, they've been just what they need to be, I think. Like, there's there's a new Astro game or something like that. Yeah, that's fine. So I'm kind of good where we are right now. Dan, I agree with that as well. You're saying Concord not leaking is surprising. Yeah, I mean, pretty much nothing has leaked about Concord. Like, not a single shred of information as far as I'm aware. I haven't seen anything leak. Sony needs to beef up their cybersecurity. Yeah, something went really wrong with that Insomniac situation. Something went really wrong. Excuse me. Mike Tyson's health scare delays fight. Oh, hold on. Boxing legend Mike Tyson experienced a medical emergency during a flight from Miami to Los Angeles, becoming nauseous and dizzy due to an ulcer flare-up 30 minutes before landing. Paramedics were called to assist, and the flight was delayed by 2 hours. Tyson's representative confirmed that he is now doing great and feeling much better. The incident has raised questions about Tyson's upcoming fight with Jake Paul, scheduled for July 20th. Damn, dude. I think I've had stomach ulcer before. They're not pleasant, man. Stomach ulcers are not pleasant. They can be very painful. Yeah, Mike Tyson's old now. I mean, he's older. I think he's in his 50s. I hope Mike Tyson wins that fight. I mean, I'm rooting for Mike Tyson there. Tyson still scares you, though? Yeah, he's absolutely. Absolutely. You can tell he's still a beast, man. You think all of Sony's games are going to be at Summer Game Fest? Oh, I don't know about that, man. That would be so the only way that would work is if Sony doesn't even have a state of play planned. They have nothing planned except Summer Game. That would be shocking. Now that I would be shocked about, because that's like, whoa, okay, everybody was completely wrong. Like, I'm still expecting a show of some kind. There doesn't seem to be any indication that there won't be a show. Imagine Summer Game Fest as a PlayStation showcase in disguise. Yeah, I mean, we've kind of seen that with the Game Awards, right? Where like Sony had a really strong presence at the Game Awards in previous years. And that'd be pretty cool. So it's a possibility. PlayStation is being quiet on X today. Well, as I said at the very beginning of the stream, it is Memorial Day in the United States. So it is a holiday, day of remembrance. And I'm not sure. I mean, it's one of these things where you could view it one of two ways. You could view it as maybe today is a better day to announce it because more people are home. More people are probably pulling their phones out at random times, just checking their social media and stuff. So maybe it could make sense to announce it today and get more viewership from that. Or it could go the other way where it's just, hey, it's a holiday. We're not going to announce anything on a holiday. We'll do it the day after. Yeah, Sony employees, I think, are off, at least the ones that are working in the US. Dominic, you're saying you still don't think a state of play or showcase is happening this month. I mean, yeah. Look, man, for me, I'm not necessarily waiting for anything. I'll be honest with you. I'm not waiting for anything anymore. I spent this entire month waiting, and even last month, and I feel like I feel like I've put way too much focus, truthfully, like onto upcoming eventual PlayStation shows. And I know why I do that, and I know why a lot of people do that, but considering how like I'm beginning to really learn how truly unpredictable all of this can be, and how unreliable all of the hearsay and speculation can be. And so it's not to say that I don't look forward to PlayStation shows. I absolutely do, and I'll always be there when they're announced. But just seeing how this entire month has went by, we are at the last week of the month, and there's just still so much confusion. It's just like, all right, well, to anybody who said previously, just sit back and relax and let them announce it when they're ready, I think those people were probably onto something. Like, I think that has been, and I think still is, the best approach going forward. Because you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. And I don't want to send the wrong message to anybody who is tuning into my streams. And I don't want that message to just be, hey guys, let's just talk about that eventual showcase, because it does feel too like, well, hold on now. Like, what about what's happening now? That's all. Yeah, I remember the conversation about the second showcase last year. What's weird about it is apparently there was a second showcase scheduled. From my understanding, there actually was going to be one, but it basically got canceled. And what's interesting is at around the time they would have held a second showcase, like September, October, around that time, there was a bunch of internal shifting going around or going on, where The Last of Us multiplayer got canceled, and there was some weird stuff going on with, I think it was Connie Booth. I think she got fired. So there was some kind of shakeup. And then we also found out that Jim Ryan was going to be retiring. So a lot happened at one time, and it does make you wonder, like, maybe there was some kind of plan, but something just went haywire and there were problems. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, the whole idea of hanging on to that hope of, don't worry guys, there's going to be a second showcase. Yeah, you live and you learn. And hindsight 2020, there was no second showcase. But what we did get was a pretty solid presence at the Game Awards. Sony had a good presence at the Game Awards, and that was nice. And it was something. And then they had a state of play a month later. So they definitely had some things planned, but we just have to kind of take it as it comes, I think, at this point. Again, it's not to say that I won't cover leaks or rumors. I definitely will, but I'm just going to try not to put as much emphasis on them going forward, because I myself am getting very tired, and I think a lot of you guys are as well. And so put much less emphasis on the leaks and the rumors themselves. Cover them as they arrive, and then just leave it as it is, and then just put more focus on what actually is and what is known. That's kind of why I wanted to talk about Concord today, because I thought, okay, well, there is a rumor that Concord's going to be shown soon. So I covered that. But I wanted most of the focus to be on, what do we currently know about Concord? What do we know about this game? What can we say about this game now? And what are we hoping for? MBG, what do you think of this? PlayStation has a new partner studio working on a co-op action adventure focused on Turk mythology. I saw that. Yeah, I'm very careful with that type of stuff. These smaller independent studios, you're talking to the same guy that followed Blue Box Game Studios and the Abandoned game. And ever since that experience, I'm very wary of these smaller studios and what they have to say and how much I believe them. Like, I pretty much have turned into Ron Burgundy. I don't believe you, you know? Like, it's nothing against the studio. It's just, I'll wait for Sony to announce what they have to announce. And if if it's true that their game is going to be part of something like that, cool. Cool. I look forward to seeing it. MBG was abandoned once already. What's this Concord about? It's a, well, if you missed the first, I would say, hour and a half of this stream, I'm going to be ending the stream soon, and we're going to move to the members lounge. But if you missed the first hour and a half of this stream, I highly recommend coming back and watching it because we talk all about Concord. We do pretty much a deep dive on everything we know about it so far. Jakey Steer saying you just platinumed Animal Well. Really great game, and I don't usually play indies. Yeah, I've heard good things about that game. Terrence says, ever since the last PlayStation showcase, everything has felt a little bit off. I do agree mostly. Like, I feel like something internally at PlayStation went, I don't know if it was like miscommunication or some level of mismanagement occurred. And I think Sony, like the higher up executives maybe identified it and they like decided we need to get this sorted out really quickly. Maybe not. I don't know. You know what it could have just been? It could have just been that Jim Ryan really was just ready to retire, and he just kind of dropped that on them. Like, guys, I'm out. And they were like, "Oh wait, hold on, what? We didn't see that coming." And they had to kind of, you got to figure out what to do at that point. You have a guy that's been with the company for over 30 years that knows these things in and out. He's been leading this entire generation, and he's just like, yeah, I think I'm going to retire now. You got to figure out what to do from that point. Well, you can see he did the job of two men. Yeah. Yeah, I'm very interested to see this new era of PlayStation, how it plays out with two CEOs, one running the game side, one running the platform/hardware side. It's going to be super interesting. But guys, here's what we're going to do. This is going to be a last call for memberships. And the reason why I'm saying that is because in the next 3 to 5 minutes, we're going to be heading over to the members lounge. The members lounge is a place where, members go and we chat, we hang out, we have some different types of conversations. So if you are a channel member, please stick around and look forward to that. That stream is going to go up as soon as this one ends. And yeah, so last call for any membership gifts, if not membership gifts, to, becoming a member. And let me see here. And I also just want to ask you guys, if you are heading out as this stream is coming to an end, please just hit that like button for me. You guys are doing a great job today, and I really appreciate it. We're sitting at 225 likes. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. Let's see if we can keep that going. Maybe get it up to 235, maybe even 250. JMR77 says, someone gift memberships. Well, we did good today. We're sitting at 35 members, which is definitely a solid number there. And I very much appreciate it. And we have Neo coming in. Neo is answering the call towards the end of the stream here. Neo drops 5 membership gifts for you guys. So for anybody who just received a membership gift from Neo, you now gain access to the members lounge. Love to see it. Neo, thank you so much for that, buddy. You just brought us up to 40 members on the day.
Thank you. Appreciate
And Neo, I could be mistaken, but is this your first time gifting memberships? It looks like it is. I always love to see that. I always love to see new people coming in, feeling inspired, by the generosity of others and paying it forward with some other gift memberships. And Steven Leon comes in. Steven Leon with a 10 bomb. Just like that, Steven takes us from 40 to 50 members on the day. And Joshua Reese says it's time to get some reps in. And you're absolutely right. I did tell you guys, if we hit 50 members, I'll get a couple reps in. I won't lie to you. I did a brutal workout earlier. I did like 20 sets earlier, but I could get another set in for you guys. No problem. Thank you so much, Steven and Neo. That's 15 more memberships gifted, giving more people access to the members lounge. Let me update the member goal so you can see that we crushed 2 goals today. Oops. Hold on. Sony.
Enough from me. We're going to have the games start talking.
We got to get back to that. We need that energy. We got to let the games do the talking. So here's what we'll do. Feel free to drop any more membership gifts. We're going to get a couple of reps in here, and then we're going to head over to the members lounge. I do have to fix this, though, because I got to change the soundtrack. Digital Dude 25 with an 8-month milestone chat. I saw that, man. I don't believe it. I'll be honest with you. When it comes to Black Ops 6, I'm seeing some of the things that are leaking out. I don't believe it. I'll believe it when I see it. That's pretty wild. Like, I feel like a lot of people use the term wild these days to describe things. And I feel like that term is overused. Like, is it that wild, though? But, like, that's pretty wild. That would be next level. I would not expect that. Just give me 1 second here. I'm trying to set this up accordingly. All right, let's see if that worked. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize if that was really loud. Sorry about that, guys. Let's go. Let's get some reps in. Okay, dude, those are 25s. Dude, my arms are in so much pain. Holy shit. Oof. I'm sorry I can't do more. Dude, I've been working out so hard off stream. Boss is like, what the F is happening? I hope that'll suffice for today. I got to overcome this soreness, dude. Oh, man. Oh, man. I'm feeling that. You got the same air purifier in your... Oh, yeah. I forgot that you guys can see that. Yeah, I feel like my allergies are really flaring up, like badly. Like very badly. So I've had this air purifier for a while, but the filter needed to be changed. So I recently just bought a new one and I replaced it. And I think it's helping. I like to think it's helping. Yeah. It's a pretty good air purifier. I don't think it's like the most premium one you can buy. But especially because, you know, the cats are chilling in here with me all the time. And we have Guy Gravity decides to actually join the MBG army today. Guy Gravity, thank you so much for that, buddy.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Look forward to your exclusive perks now, man, as a member. And thank you for joining on your own accord here. Hopefully I'll see you in the members lounge. And Digital Dude 25 with another super chat says, what if in Black Ops 6 they stop the planes, but the towers still go down? Oh, man. Oh, man. We're going to end this conversation right here, Digital Dude. I fear where this might be headed, but I don't think so, Digital Dude. Like I said, I'll believe it when I see it. I've seen the evidence that people are pointing towards to show that they think it's going to be part of it. But, that's touchy. That's really, 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 really touchy. That would be, I'll be honest, man, that would be the craziest thing Call of Duty ever did. By far. Call of Duty's done some crazy stuff. That would be the craziest. Certainly. But we're going to find out soon, Digital Dude. We're going to find out soon. But, all right, where are we at? Okay, so we're approaching the 2.5 hour mark. I think this is a good spot to end the stream. I have to really give you guys a massive thank you. Devil Shooter, just to be clear, I think this would surpass that. Just because it's based on a real event. You know? But yeah, that was a crazy moment for Call of Duty as well. Certainly. But this is where we're going to bring this stream to an end. Before we open up the members lounge, I just want to give you guys a massive thank you and make sure that everybody is aware of how much I truly appreciate you showing up today and showing support. We hit 51 members on the day. So you guys crushed not one goal, but 2 goals. So big shout out to this community for making that happen. And I also want to make sure to thank everybody who donated a super chat. Super chats help me a lot as well. And anybody who donated directly through the Streamlabs link, thank you guys. You are the sponsors of the channel. If it wasn't for your support, I simply wouldn't be able to do this. And it's a privilege to be able to do this. So I hope you did enjoy our discussion about Concord and our just kind of other random discussions about PlayStation and gaming. And so we're going to head over to the members lounge. As you head out, hit that like button for me. And I want to make sure to give a shout out to Devil Shooter. He does the timestamps for the streams. He does a great job. If you see Devil Shooter in the comments of this stream, show him some love, give him some thanks. I know he really appreciates that. I know he really appreciates this community. So that does it, guys. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. And again, I hope your Memorial Day is a meaningful one. And that's it. I will see all of my members in the members lounge. And to everybody else, I will catch you tomorrow. Same time, same place. So until then, take care, everyone.